Hey everybody, this is Sally Griffin, aka Millionaire Yogi, and I help visionaries become world-changing influencers. And I wanted to get in touch. Every season and every little shift that goes throughout the year, I want to say hello to the new people who've joined the Spirit of Influence. And so this is just again a heartfelt welcome to you, and to talk to you a little bit about what might be going on for you right now, putting it in the context not only of the ancient seasons and rituals and rites of the year, but also what comes up in business, because that's the mix that I do. So let's talk about January. We're in the middle of a time when you'll notice that everybody is trying to get projects off the ground. There's a lot of people in my industry talking about you need to get your strategy, you need to get your, your goals figured out. And there's this sudden urgency that comes up in January. But let me give you a different perspective. This is the time of year where rather than being urgent, it's more inclined towards let's just get some planning in place. And let's start to do the visioning of this year rather than the urgency of the push. In fact, this is a very good time of year where people really should be taking some space for themselves. It's a hibernation season, and there is a reason for that. In many continents, I know my parents live in Canada, and it's just done a massive snow dump recently. In England, we've actually got a pretty nice season going on this year. But nevertheless, it's very introverted. There's a feeling of going within and starting to come at your projects in much more of a soft messaging kind of way. There may be a lot of information coming to you if you will listen, if you will allow yourself simply to do the things that will guide you, like meditation, like stillness, like clearing some clutter out of your life and your literal living space. Clearing spaces at this time of year is very productive. We're coming up to a new moon on Friday, and it is the first new moon of the decade. It's not even just of this year. It's setting a precedent of putting forward what you would like to put forward for a 10-year process. And that is not a push energy again. It is the way that you would nurture a seed or a very delicate baby idea that's coming forward. You give it loads of space, loads of light, loads of nourishment, loads of good words, and you start to set it on the right track. But you may not see immediate results because it is not the season of seeing immediate results. So just to give you some guidance on that, on Friday we come up to the new moon, and it's a powerful new moon in Aquarius. For the Aquarian Age, we've just stepped into the Aquarian Age. This is an era where you'll see literally a new earth is being created. And if you want to understand what that might look like, imagine a life where it works for everybody, and not just everybody, but every animal and every continent on the planet. We are not used to thinking that way because we always think that somebody's going to lose and somebody's going to win. You know, some animals are going to die and some are going to live. Some people have better lives, some don't. We live in this world constantly of duality, but with the new Aquarian Age, what you've got going on is the possibility for a life that works for everybody, for all animals, for the entire planet. And as in the context of business that we're thinking about creating, how do we create our abundance, our well-being, our money, our finance? How are we able to do that with these new Aquarian ideals in place? So some of the ideas are all about the positive source of technology. And, we learn a lot about what isn't good about technology, but technology is really cutting edge now. So the way that I can impact you and come into your home, just like this from my kitchen in London, is creating a global tribe. you can really work on the global tribe by just making a decision or a choice this year to actually become global. So you set your sights way bigger than you would normally on your home area. Technology will help you with that. There's another thing that goes on in terms of good causes and attaching good causes to the work that you do. If you were able to start to generate from the perspective of legacy, like what do you really want to leave on this planet? The older I get, the more present I get to how little time we all have, really, you know. And I've known some really young people pass very, very early on in their life. They never thought that was going to happen, you know. And then there's some of us who've lived to be older and longer in the tooth. And as we get into that position, then you realize how delicate this framework is. So some of the work that I'm doing is creating visionary ads. And I realized that one of the uses for this, bizarrely, is when I created my own visionary ad, I did have a thought afterwards, you know what, that could be played at my funeral. Because everything I'm saying in it, they're non-product ads, they're videos. And this is part of a program that I'm doing called The Secret of Symbolic Marketing. I've created a new company with two of my colleagues, and called The Visionaries Limited. And The Visionaries is all about creating vision for the Aquarian Age. So rather than speaking about people's products, where we're in a world of being inundated with that and being sold to, instead, they are videos shot in the form of like a music video, but really they're visionary ads. They're all about your vision. Who are you? What are you really here for? And they can be put on your website. They can be sent as an intro. They can be played before you do a public speaking gig, for instance. I did this recently when I had a cat. Always a cat. When I was speaking at Dream Big recently, which is Amy Yamada's event that was last December in LA, I actually played my visionary ad first. But you know, the thing about them is when you see that level of Aquarian Age thinking, it's no longer about selling. It's about impacting people on the level of legacy. And then I had this funny thought afterwards that I thought, yeah, I could actually play that. I wouldn't be there, but I could play it at my funeral because it's that meaningful, and it sums up all the things that I've done, who I really am, what motivates me, what's behind the scenes of anything I do. So that's one piece that I'm putting into play, and some of you know about these and some of you will have been introduced directly, but there'll be more that I talk about. I am doing an event on the 3rd and 4th of April in Santa Monica, and it will be, that's LA, for those that you don't know, who you don't know about LA. It's one of my favorite places in LA, and it will be called Your Soul Reason to Be Here. Soul, S-O-U-L, your soul reason to be here. And it's a workshop, 2-day workshop, 5 hours each day of experiential workshops all around storytelling and going beneath your brand and really looking at why are you here, not what can you sell. What can you sell is almost like a second level that it comes out of why are you here and what are you really here to do. So there's a switch with the Aquarian Age of the focus, and it really is authenticity is the number one word, I would say. You got to be authentic or people will be turned off. And when you're thinking about this year, how this would progress, think about starting on this new moon on Friday. What are your most authentic values? What are you really here to do? And when I put that in perspective, it's like, for me, 10 years will take me into my 60s. It's like, whoa. And when I think about what I want to leave on the planet, I want to leave lasting impact in business so that people are doing things with meaning. I want to shorten my programs. So some of the programs that I'm running I don't feel need to be this lengthy, continuous, very long business, because Aquarian Age is fast. It's like how to get maximum impact in a powerful, heart-opening way. And how do we open our hearts? How are we going to get better at being influencers? It's often by confronting the areas you don't want to look at. And you think it's to do with business. It isn't. It'll be to do with an area of constriction. So that's, in the other work that I do, I'm shortening the programs. And I recommend that some of you might want to consider shortening things for the Aquarian Age. Look for impact. Look for quantum shifts. Look for, it's the way I work. I often tweak people to cause their greatness. I'm less interested these days in a very long, slow hatching process. I'm rather like metamorphosize, like how are we going to get you to metamorphosize right now? And often the key to that is looking at the areas that you find uncomfortable. So this coming new moon, I will be working again. I'm doing these series of 13 moons this year. That's the full moons. But the new moons, I urge you to do something like a ceremony for yourself where you're actually bringing in the energy of a decade. New moons are all about launching, and they often have to do with abundance. So it's like, how are you going to set up, for instance, if you really were going to do a money ritual, it would always be on the new moon, that you create it over the 3 days after the new moon, because it's all about if you think rich, if you think abundantly, and you step into this decade already that way, and the way to do it is just imagine some of the behavior that you have that holds you back. What is the constriction that keeps you saying no, or keeps you saying, I'll stay in just this very small area of a life that I wouldn't dream of stretching out into X, Y, and Z? Well, we haven't got time for that anymore. The Aquarian Age means we need protectors on the planet of the animals. We need protectors of the land itself. We need people who are actually going to step up and work with communities that are being left alone and nobody is speaking on behalf of them. And then the key piece is you have got to attach the money to it. It's not going to work to simply be just a wafting spiritual entity wishing well on, the Australian animals who have been burned alive. It's like, no, it's action time. And you need the money behind the action, or the money with the action. So all you spiritualpreneurs, it's time that you took hold of the money piece as well, and you actually choose to make millions. Choose to be aligned with billions, like it's urgent and like it's a good thing. It's no longer a bad thing to see the bad guys as the billionaire bankers out there. We need you to step up and be the billionaire good guys. So that's a lot of the work that I'm going to be doing, moving finance around spirituality and vice versa. And the short programs that I'm doing are around earth, air, fire, and water. And they're all called Awakening Your Soul Gold Within. Gold meaning G-O-L-D, not goal. Somebody kept saying, is that goals? And I'm like, no, it's your soul gold. And if you can imagine what that is, how vital it is, your soul gold, it's like a potent perfume that nobody else has. And it absolutely is attached to worth its weight in gold. Worth its weight in gold, that old saying, because gold means something. And so we're going to be looking at really interesting ways to start to activate some of that work spiritually. And then some of you, I imagine, will be working literally with cryptocurrency and gold cryptocurrency and all the new cryptocurrencies that are coming in, because we have got to take the finance on. So welcome to everybody, the Spirit of Influence. I will be talking about these different ideas as we go on, but I just want to urge you to start to get ready for the new moon on Friday, and really to step into it ceremonially, like you're going into an initiation So what do you do with initiations? You cleanse, you clear the space, clear your space of old energy. I found some financial documents on the shelf over there from 2009, and it was completely blocking the box of doTERRA beautiful oils that I have. And suddenly, by removing it, I suddenly found a cure to my indigestion in the doTERRA box. So clear your space, clear yourself, and get ready to step into something really big. And really this time, it's like, if you're authentic and you have your ideas in place that are really meaningful and they make you happy, then you're going to start to attach worth to it. And your worth is worth your weight in gold. And love to you, and let's keep the conversation going, keep the vibes high as we step into this beautiful year of 2020. And I'll see you regularly, because I'm going to be doing regular Facebook Lives and updates, and, you know, love the connection. So namaste and so much love.